Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we're taking a look at the Modern Warfare 2 perks. Now I'm not going to be ranking these based on how strong do I just think they are objectively. I'm just going to be ranking them based on how much did I enjoy using these specific perks. So starting us off we have Marathon, and I'm also going to be considering the pro variant of the perk as well, because typically that's what you're playing with. So Marathon gives you unlimited sprint, and the pro version allows you to climb over obstacles faster. Overall, just a pretty good quality of life perk that feels good. I mean, it's so annoying running out of sprint in Call of Duty, and Marathon just feels really good. I would run it far more if the other perks in this tier weren't just super good as well. But Marathon, especially if you're doing like a knife only or pistol only or even just an SMG run and gun playstyle, Marathon combined with lightweight just feels really good. So Marathon definitely going to find itself in a solid B tier. Up next, we have One Man Army, which when you equip this perk, it replaces your secondary, so you have no secondary. But when you swap to your secondary, it allows you to change classes, and One Man Army Pro just makes it so that you can swap it faster. It's like pretty slow without the pro version. I'm not sure exactly how long it takes, but it is pretty slow. And this perk honestly kind of destroyed games, because people would run like some assault rifle with a grenade launcher with danger close and One Man Army, and just spam grenade launchers, swap weapons, swap classes to get the refill on the ammo, do it again. And that was like one of the most annoying playstyles in the game. And really, that was like the only really viable playstyle for One Man Army. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of situations where One Man Army was really good outside of that danger close grenade launcher playstyle, which I think was really, really unhealthy for the game. So One Man Army, I was not a fan of it. It's going to find itself down in the D tier. It would be F tier, but there are, some use cases. Sure, you can, be using a sniper rifle, and then, if you want to swap to an assault rifle, to go capture an objective or something, you could do that. So it has its use cases, but I would say like 99% of the time when I saw people running this in multiplayer, it was because they were running the grenade launcher danger close class. And yeah, that's just not fun. Up next, we have Scavenger, which, as it does in every single game, allows you to resupply ammo and equipment from, dead enemies or teammates. And Scavenger Pro allows you to just spawn with extra ammo, which I always think that was such a kind of a dumb thing for Scavenger Pro. Pretty much Scavenger Pro in every single game allows you to spawn with extra ammo, but if you have Scavenger, you're going to find so much ammo on the ground that it's never an issue. So Scavenger Pro, not really that useful, but Scavenger, still really useful, because there are a lot of guns in the game that don't get a lot of extra ammo to start with, and they run out of ammo pretty quickly, so Scavenger definitely feels pretty good. I'm somebody who liked to use Scar a lot, and the Scar, you only got like 2, maybe 3 extra magazines, so I burned through my ammo really quickly, so I typically run Scavenger on that class, and overall, I'd say it's pretty good. But once again, it's not fantastic, it's not amazing, just a solid perk that definitely pretty useful. And one thing that is nice in this game is it does refill equipment, which it doesn't do in every single game that Scavenger's in. So, it feels pretty good to use, but again, not quite as flexible as some other perks in this tier that we'll be getting to next. So, Scavenger gonna find itself in the B tier. Up next, we have Bling. Now, Bling allows you to have 2 attachments to your primary, and Bling Pro allows you to have 2 attachments to your secondary, which is kind of less significant, I would say, because there's not too many secondaries where you really feel like you need 2 attachments, but there are some, especially machine pistols, that do feel pretty good to have that extra attachment. With that in mind, I think Bling is a super good perk. I absolutely love putting 2 attachments on my guns. I love the ability to have, like a suppressor and extended mag on an assault rifle. I think that feels so good. Or, a suppressor and a red dot. I'm just a really huge fan of Bling. Definitely one of my favorite perks to run in the game. Just for me, when it comes to playing Call of Duty, the more attachments, the better. So for me, Bling honestly going to find itself up in the S tier. Up next, we have Sleight of Hand, which allows you to reload faster, as it does in every single game. And then Sleight of Hand Pro makes it so that you can aim down sight faster, which is another really nice thing. And one unique thing about aiming down sight faster in this game, that it is different from most other Call of Duties, is it also affects sniper rifles. So, of course, everybody thinks of Modern Warfare 2 quickscoping. You zoomed in so quickly with a sniper rifle with Sleight of Hand Pro, and quickscoping with the intervention, which is so much fun. And Sleight of Hand Pro is what allowed that to happen. So I really, really love Sleight of Hand Pro. Honestly, gonna find itself in the S tier for me. I really can't put it anywhere below that, just because it is a useful perk. Sleight of Hand, reloading really quick is really nice, but the zooming in faster on sniper rifles just feels so good for quick scoping. Up next, we're getting into the next perk tier, and starting us off, we have lightweight, which allows you to sprint a little bit faster. It's not significantly faster, but it is definitely noticeable, and running this in conjunction with marathon feels really good. I mean, you can be doing laps around the map like non-stop. Definitely feels pretty good on those quicker classes. And then lightweight pro allows you to basically reset your aim after sprinting, because of course after sprinting there's a short period of time where you can't zoom in or fire. And lightweight pro basically makes that time period really short, so you can sprint and then start firing almost immediately. So lightweight, I would say, if you're running lightweight, you kind of need to be running marathon. I would say if you're going to have one, you kind of want to have the other, just because they kind of, you know, build off each other and make each other even stronger. So lightweight also going to find itself in the B tier. Definitely a solid perk choice for this tier as well. Up next, we have hardline, which, as it does in every Call of Duty, makes your kill requirements for kill streaks cost 1 less, and then hardline pro makes it so that your death streaks also cost 1 less, which is not really the best, but I mean, you know, maybe it can be useful. But you know, if you're needing your death streaks to be 1 kill less, you're probably not having a great game either way. But hardline, I would say, does feel pretty good. You know, as I've mentioned in other videos where I've talked about hardline, I think it's most useful when you're running a lot of kill streaks that are low kills, you know, 3, 4, 5 kills, because you can just be, you know, cycling through those, dying, cycling through them again. So I would say hardline feels pretty good. I definitely like to run it on lower kill streaks. You know, if you're running tactical nuke, getting it at 24 kills hopefully isn't gonna change the difference if you get stuck at 24 kills before your nuke. That would kind of stink, but yeah, I suppose if you have hardline, you know, you would get the nuke anyways. But hardline, just overall solid perk, feels pretty good to use when you're running lower kill streaks. You can get them pretty quick, so gonna find itself up in the B tier. Up next, we have Cold-Blooded, which allows you to be invisible from UAV, thermal, air support, and sentry guns. And then Cold-Blooded Pro makes it so that there's no red crosshair when people hover over you, and also your nameplate doesn't show up. So it basically makes you invisible to everything except heartbeat sensors, which is done by Ninja. But I think Cold-Blooded is just really good. Just a really solid perk. You know, being invisible to pretty much all, you know, AI controlled kill streaks is really nice, because in Modern Warfare 2 there is a lot of kill streaks that get called in. So Cold-Blooded, especially if you have a class where you specifically shoot down kill streaks, I think Cold-Blooded is pretty much a requirement on that one. I would run Cold-Blooded on pretty much every single class except sniper rifle classes, because you kind of have to run stopping power on those. We'll get into that in a minute, but Cold-Blooded just feels really good. Definitely one of my favorite perks in the game, and it's going to find itself up in the S tier. Up next, we have Stopping Power. Now, Stopping Power, you know, as it does in the other games that it exists in, it just makes you deal more damage with your bullets. And then Stopping Power Pro gives you increased damage to enemy kill streaks, so things like helicopters, you know, Harriers, UAVs, chopper gunners, AC-130s, things like that. And Stopping Power, this is a perk that was in a lot of early Call of Duties, and I'm really glad that they ended up removing it, because in certain classes it just feels like it's required to use it, because, you know, sniper rifle classes, you pretty much have to run Stopping Power, otherwise you're almost never going to be one-shotting people unless you're shooting them in the neck or the head, which I think is really annoying, because on sniper rifle classes it's like, great, I don't really have a choice. I'd like to run Cold-Blooded on my sniper rifle class, but kind of have to run Stopping Power. Similar thing with shotguns. I feel like if you're not running Stopping Power on a shotgun class, it just feels so much weaker, so I don't like that it's required. But the fact that it is in the game, you know, when I do run it, it does feel really good. Even on assault rifles, running Stopping Power always feels really good, because you're just dealing like more damage and killing people quicker. So, you know, I don't like that it's in the game, but the fact that it's in there means I'm gonna enjoy it when I'm using it. So Stopping Power, I wish it wasn't in the game, but using it still feels good, so it's gonna find itself in the A tier. Up next, we have Danger Close. Now, this makes it so that you deal increased explosive damage, whether it's grenades, grenade launchers, RPGs, C4, claymores, whatever. Your explosions have a larger explosion radius, and they deal a little bit more damage. This is honestly a pretty frustrating perk. People running around, I remember like Riot Shield and RPGs with Danger Close. That was super annoying. People just running around blowing people up like that. Like I said, the grenade launcher with on an assault rifle with Danger Close and one-man army was an absolute menace to face online. You know, people would just sit in buildings across the map and just grenade launch across the map, refill their ammo, shoot more grenades. Oh man, this was a a menace in multiplayer. I did not like the fact that Danger Close existed, and personally, I didn't even really like the playstyle. I've tried the playstyle where I run the grenade launcher and Danger Close, and I use one-man army, but I just get so bored doing that. Even the Riot Shield RPG Danger Close class, I really didn't enjoy that either. So Danger Close, I'm sorry, I know some people really like this, but I did not enjoy it at all, and I'm gonna have to put it down in the F tier. Up next, we're getting into the final tier of perks, and starting us off, we have Commando, which of course increased your knife distance. And man, there was some crazy things that happened in multiplayer. I mean, you can knife somebody from pretty far away with Commando knife, but there was times where people were literally knifing people from like way too far, and it was crazy to watch the kill cams. And Commando Pro, of course, makes you immune to fall damage, which is pretty nice because there actually is a decent amount of places in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 where, you know, you would take fall damage, especially on Rust. You know, you're jumping off the top doing 360s. Having Commando Pro pretty much a requirement there, but also if you're running like a tactical knife class, it's really fun to run Marathon, Lightweight, and Commando, and you can just run around the map so quickly, knifing people nonstop. That was a really fun playstyle. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. And of course, with the Riot Shield as well, you could lunge at people from super far away. That felt pretty good as well. So overall, Commando, just a really solid perk, felt good to use. I would say this is probably the most common one that I ran in this tier, and it's going to find itself in a solid A tier for me. Up next, we have Ninja. Now, Ninja makes you invisible to heartbeat sensors, and Ninja Pro makes it so that you are completely silent. So your footsteps don't make any noise. And overall, I would say it was a pretty good perk. I'd see some people run this a lot of the times in like Search and Destroy. But overall, I didn't really run it too often. You know, being invisible to heartbeat sensors was nice because a lot of people did run heartbeat sensors in this game, I found. But for me, I didn't really run it that often. I wasn't somebody who really used headphones to listen for footsteps, so I didn't really care about, you know, being silent. But overall, it's still a solid perk and definitely a good choice if you're playing Search and Destroy, like I said, because so many people in that mode just camp and listen for footsteps. So Ninja, it'll still find itself in the C tier. Up next, we have Scrambler. Now, this was such a weird perk. So Scrambler, when you got near somebody, it would scramble their radar like a counter UAV, which, sure, maybe, you know, you're scrambling their radar, you know, they can't see anything on the map. But really, all this perk did was make it so that an enemy said, oh, hey, somebody is coming near me because my radar is slowly getting scrambled. So it was almost a detriment to run this perk. The Pro version was kind of okay. It made it so that Claymores were delayed. So if you think of like Stalker Pro from Modern Warfare 3, you know, if you run over a Claymore, it would click, but then it wouldn't blow up right away, so it gives you time to get out of the way. But I don't really think it's that good because not that many people ran Claymores. I would say a decent amount of people did, but definitely isn't like the most common equipment in this game. So I would say Scrambler, a pretty bad perk overall. Sure, maybe it has some niche use cases, but I almost never saw somebody run this perk unless they were just trolling. Because like I said, you know, if I'm standing there and then my radar starts getting scrambled, I think, oh, somebody must be coming closer to me. And so it's just kind of a giveaway for your enemy. So Scrambler, I really can't justify putting it above the F tier, and that's where it's going to find it for me. Up next, we have SitRep. Now, this reveals enemy equipment, so, you know, you get, basically, you can see them through the walls. They're glowing red, whether it's tactical insertions, C4, you know, Semtex frag grenades, Claymores. You can just see them through the wall, which that's, you know, not super useful in a game that doesn't have something like Hacker or Black Hats. But it's still okay, you know, especially being able to see Claymores. You know, if you're playing Search and Destroy, people are camping with Claymores and C4. That can be nice, but I think most people ran SitRep for the Pro version, which makes it so that enemy footsteps sound louder. So a lot of people, you know, if they're camping, playing that footstep playstyle, especially in Search and Destroy, a lot of people would run SitRep just to listen for those footsteps. So I would say it's a pretty good perk if you're doing that, but like I said, I didn't really do that a whole lot, so it's only going to find itself in the C tier for me. Up next, we have Steady Aim. Now this, you know, as it does in every Call of Duty which it exists in, makes it so that your crosshairs are a bit smaller, and I would say this perk is really good to use on like shotgun classes, or if you're running a class like Riot Shield, Akimbo Glock 18s, or like Akimbo SMGs. Definitely feels pretty good because your crosshairs are huge in those classes. But outside of that, it's really not a requirement, but just has a really solid niche in that area. And Steady Aim Pro makes it so that you can hold your breath longer on sniper rifles. So Also, if you're going for like a quick scoping class, you might be running steady aim, but I think most people ran Commando for the fall damage. But still, it's still a good choice to run steady aim. So definitely not a terrible perk to run on sniper classes. But you know, in Call of Duty is when they give you the option of on a perk to hold your breath longer. I just feel like it's kind of useless because almost nobody that I know of is like running out of breath when they're holding, you know, a sniper rifle angle. Because I don't feel like if you're holding an angle on a sniper rifle, you don't really need to be holding your breath. You can kind of hold your breath right before you shoot, and that's going to be enough for you. But that being said, the base perk of steady aim still has its really good use case, and for me, it's going to be good enough to find itself in the B tier. Last, but well, not quite least, is Last Stand. Now this, you know, as it does in other Call of Duties, you drop it down into your last stand when you would have died, and you pull out your pistol, and you're able to crawl around for like, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 10 seconds, and shoot people with a pistol. Most of the time, you're just going to die right away. And then Last Stand Pro makes so that you can use your equipment in Last Stand, which is a little bit better because you're probably more likely to get a kill with throwing a grenade or a C4 than you are with a pistol. But, you know, unlike some other games where Last Stand Pro exists, your teammates cannot revive you, so you're pretty much just sitting there for 8 to 10 seconds until you die. I almost never saw anybody run this perk. It does have, you know, its potential use cases, but most of the time I think this perk is pretty useless, and it's going to find itself kind of in the bottom of the D tier for me. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.